Compassion. Compassion is the noblest of human virtues. A compassionate person is kind, tolerant, patient, forgiving, caring, and harbors love for all creatures that God has made to inhabit our beautiful planet. Compassion includes sacrifice and selfless service for our fellow humans and animals. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Our greatest test for compassion is the one which enjoins us to forego a cherished desire or dream in order to help others, including animals, and act to alleviate their suffering, even if this results in a personal loss or disappointment. Johann Lenzberg faced such a situation and passed this test with flying colors. Here's how. Johann Lenzberg drove his team of 6 big Huskies, Arctic dogs famed for their endurance and loyalty, and adept at carrying loads across the icy wastes of the northern regions. These Huskies were the sole mode of transport in these regions till a few decades ago, and pulled sledges, wheelless metal or fiber boards, long distances, in a hostile and treacherous terrain. Johanna was leading his group of 4 adventurers to the North Pole in a first ever attempt by a human to reach the northernmost point on Earth. Each man sat on a sledge pulled by a team of Huskies, and one sledge carried their supplies, which included food, medicines, signal flares, and spare fur jackets having hoods. They were only about 40 miles from the pole, and their spirits were high. Johanna was confident of realizing his dream of being the first man on the top of the planet. The weather was good and clear, the ice firm beneath the sledges, and the dogs cruised along easily. Suddenly, the lead dog on Johanna's team stumbled, howled painfully, and fell down with a frightening thud. Johanna yanked at the reins, stopped the sledge, and ran over to where the poor dog lay, whining in agony. Johanna examined the dog carefully and found that it had broken its left rear leg. Perhaps it had been unfortunate enough to have stepped on a fissure caused by melting ice, lost balance, and tumbled on the rock-hard ice. The husky was in considerable pain, and though Johanna knew what had to be done, he couldn't bring himself to do it. It was an unwritten rule among northerners to put an injured animal to merciful death, for 3 was no point lugging dead weights over long distances, and even then, trained vets were a rarity in the region. It was always much more convenient to shoot the dog and bury it in the ice before traveling on. The other men in the group had also stopped, and as Johanna hesitated, his burly deputy, Hanse, loaded his rifle and aimed the muzzle at the crippled animal.
No.
Johanna shouted and flung himself over the suffering dog.
You won't kill it, Hansen. No way.
He commanded. The men looked at him strangely.
Don't be a fool, Johann.
Hanse grunted.
You can't help him now.
Johanna looked at the animal whose pleading eyes stared at him, looked once at the men whom he had led so close to triumph, and men who had braved many hazards on the 200-mile journey. He had made his decision. A decision defying all reason and sense.
I am turning back to the base camp.
He declared flatly.
You are free to continue your journey, if you wish.
The men watched stunned, as Johanna dragged the husky onto his sled, fastened him to the pilings, and began to turn around his remaining team of dogs, the way they had come.
You must be out of your mind.
Screamed Hanse angrily.
You are letting go the opportunity of a lifetime just for an injured dog, which you won't be able to save anyway.
I have made my decision, Hansen.
He said softly.
You go ahead and make history. Godspeed to you all.
He shouted at the dogs and soon he was speeding back, the injured dog resting partly on his lap. It took him 7 hours to get back the 60 miles to base camp. The husky was attended to by a vet who was luckily available and Johanna's dream lay unrealized. The group led by Hanse was caught in a terrible blizzard and only 2 of the group survived. The North Pole was conquered in 1909 by Robert Perry, and Johanna was on the team with the husky that had broken its leg a year ago.